Well, it was
but
organic, then paid online,
PPC,
then pay for leads.
PPC, then pay for leads.
Then stuff like billboards and door knocking and stuff like that.
Yeah, and not to mention repeat, but that wasn't even on the list. And the last one was like billboards, print, paper.
Yeah.
Like the one that people still like mess this up. They just muck it all up when they start doing this sort of marketing. And so it had, this is one thing, it was like eat, sleep, market. Like if you wake up in the morning, and this is like, I told Jason before that we started this, like what would Nolan do? Like what do I do? When I wake up and there's no leads, if I don't have leads, and we've got 20 people now, hundreds of clients, but it's still, I have to have leads until where I'm almost worked myself into a coma.
Yeah. If he wakes up and he doesn't have leads, the first thing he does is look over all our marketing efforts, and then he starts bothering me to figure out what's not working.
It's the actual number one thing I do. Hey there, guys. It is Nolan and Jason here for
Howdy.
HVAC Webmasters. The title of today's simulcast here is Eat, Sleep, and Market Online. Eat, Sleep, Market Online.
Eat, sleep, market, repeat.
Going Brock Lesnar there on everybody.
The reason, I mean, it comes up all the time to me, and I know that everyone listening to this is going to say, yeah, I get that, but nobody really gets it, you know.
No, nobody.
So let's go into it, and I think it's worth listening to this. And I just had a call with somebody called me for HVAC. Literally, that was the call. So we're going to do this simulcast like 30 minutes ago, but I got a phone call.
Yeah.
And actually, I had the idea to do this before the phone call, but it just illustrates the need to talk about this. So we do several different types of pricing. We're a great deal, and I offered him two options. One was pay the monthly fee.
Yeah.
And one was do a pay per lead, to where we call track and list on leads.
Yeah.
And the monthly for this guy was less than $1,000, which was a great deal, and even had a lower price than that, but it didn't work for his marketplace that much because this was a popular town up in Collin County area, around here. We do this all over the nation, of course. And so he said, well, what about the pay per lead? And I said, well, we do it for this much in this market. And he said, well, can I stop it at a couple $100? And I was like, well, why would you want to do that? And I said, you could cancel it anytime. We're month to month. I mean, we're satisfaction guaranteed all the time. I was like, why would you cancel? He said, well, I don't want to pay any more than that. I said, well, what are you doing now? And he said, and by the way, this is like F-bomb for HVAC industry. It does warranty work. So yeah, and guys, and his website was from 2012, so I was kind of excited about it. I'm like,
yeah,
hey,
that's a good.
I'm like, hey, he had a 3.
A good start. Yeah.
I won't mention anybody's names, of course, but he had like a 3.9 star on Google, so he was getting bad reviews, probably due to the warranty work, not this guy.
Yeah.
They're mad because the warranty companies are jerking them around, and these guys are make nothing. Yeah. So he called up. He had all the credentials for me, and we did another simulcast about this the other day where it was talking about how long it takes to get up in rankings.
Yeah.
And it takes a little longer if you're newer, but you still get leads on more obscure keyword terms like, coil replacement or stuff like that,
Yeah.
And anyway, this guy's site was old. He had his stuff. It would have been great. And he's like, oh, can I pay as little as possible? And I'm like, well, and this is where I don't do too well on I'm like, well, but why? Why would you want to do that?
Are you an
No, I mean, I do. I am empathetic towards this, though. A lot of stuff I'm kind of cold about. I'm like, hey, that's just business, Yeah. But I'm empathetic towards a business person trying to figure out marketing and get leads. But notice how I said eat, sleep, and market online. So we have another client who's in our other space of plumbing, and we're not going to mention any names on this stuff, but they put up billboards. I mean, and it blows my mind. And I'll say this: I know we had another simulcast where we talked about where you market first.
Right.
And here's kind of what I want to talk about on this Eat, Sleep, Market is that you can continue to market. Now, I will tell you this, and I know this for a fact, that this client that did this, who is doing very well online, but only began to have any issues after they're spending like $8,000 a month on billboards. I'm not talking the small ones. I'm talking the mega ones, the huge ones. And so
They bought a billboard at the conjunction of two major highways.
Yeah, it was a very trafficked billboard. I don't know how much it cost. I mean, I know that they had more than one. This one has to be at least several $1,000s a month.
Yeah.
You know what you can do with several $1,000s a month online?
Several $1,000s a month online.
On organic is insane.
They could have quintupled their business.
Yeah, so here's the point. I want to say this, and I know people, I mean, you can take this cynically, and it's not meant that way, guys. It's like this client had the ability to do this because why? Because the site we did for them is very successful.
Right.
And so,
which, by the way, we know because we have the analytics and we track the calls.
We were tracking calls on this one, so it's very successful. And then they go throw like 6 figures at this crazy. I did this the other day on the 5 types of marketing, and it starts at organic and like leads, paying for leads and other types of lead services, and then I forgot all of them at this point.
Well, it was organic, then paid online,
PPC,
then pay for leads.
PPC, then pay for leads.
Then stuff like billboards and door knocking and stuff like that.
Yeah, and not to mention repeat, but that wasn't even on the list. And the last one was like billboards, print, paper. Yeah. Like the one that people still like mess this up. They just muck it all up when they start doing this sort of marketing. And so it had, this is one thing, it was like eat, sleep, market. Like if you wake up in the morning, and this is like, I told Jason before that we started this, like what would Nolan do? Like what do I do? When I wake up and there's no leads, if I don't have leads, and we've got 20 people now, hundreds of clients, but it's still, I have to have leads until where I'm almost worked myself into a coma.
Yeah. If he wakes up and he doesn't have leads, the first thing he does is look over all our marketing efforts, and then he starts bothering me to figure out what's not working.
It's the actual number one thing I do.
Yeah.
Right. So if and I got off of it for a little while, didn't I?
Yeah.
I got off of it for a little while, and what happened? What one is good, right? So I wake up in the morning. The very first order of business for me is if we don't have leads, how can we get more leads?
It's like, why don't we have them?
Why don't we have more leads? Why hadn't the phone ring? Why don't we have more people?
Yeah.
Why aren't we slammed to where we can't think straight? Right. And then I like to get slammed where I can't think straight, so that then we can figure out processes and procedures. And
I like it when he gets slammed because he can't think straight, because then he leaves me alone.
This was a good week, and it's been good for us, and we've been hammering it, just hammering it. And the frustration comes in, and these aren't good for simulcast stuff or videos and podcasts, because I'm not trying to be rude to the customer, but it's very frustrating for me as the business owner to see this mentality of somebody.
And we get this every once in a while, talking to clients about the potential clients about the PPL, pay per lead service.
Yeah,
is every once in a while we get one who the first thought out of their head is, well, can I set a limit on it?
Yeah.
And then it's like, why would you want to set a limit on how much money you make?
If somebody got too busy, we can just say I can't take calls right now. Like we did have a client that got 275 calls over the weekend and after a heat wave in California.
Yeah.
And he had to say, I'm not taking calls, which is fine. But we do that off, we can go into that if anybody has questions about it, but it's kind of offered for those people too, by the way. It's offered for 2 reasons. Like the guy that called didn't want to do either. So I don't know what he's expecting. So if somebody calls and we offer like phenomenal services at month to month, basically no money down in every case, and can walk away, and what we do on a monthly, we do like $99 down. You don't like everything, you don't love it, you can walk off.
Right.
And then somebody's
you get your $99 back.
Somebody said one time about a year and a half ago, oh no, it was like for the 4,000th time. And by the way, I started this company after getting screwed around by an SEO firm. Or back then it wasn't even SEO. It was a web design agency. It was they had a foot in trying to be a traditional agency, which just means code word for they charged me a crap load of money. And then they tried to screw me further, and then I started the business up. But what was my point? When you're getting this stuff done, and we offered the lead. We offered the lead for the guy 2 ways. The guy that just called, that didn't want to pay jack. Yeah. It's like, I'm just calling because it's interesting, but I'd like to get it for Mumbai rates. Right? Can I say that?
Sure.
I just said it. Yeah. Which is horrible work, services, pinging out of the country, I might add.
Yeah.
Bad code. and you don't see those guys up in top search rankings when they're doing that stuff. So, but we are very inexpensive for extremely high quality work. They didn't want the monthly, so I was like, okay, how about paying per lead? And they didn't want to do that either. And then when I get that client, then I know that their head's just not right yet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with
I'm
them.
going to say where their head is, but it ain't right.
It's not right. And then so it's like, how do you get right? I will say that I wasn't any marketing prodigy. I didn't start out like just, God's gift to marketing. It took a long time, but I always focused on marketing. I remember thinking, oh gosh, if I don't market and do something, I don't get any business.
Yeah, no business comes.
And I'm a real purist about this. Like there isn't anything, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And the reason nothing else matters in marketing is because marketing brings resources, which brings the services and human resources that you need to provide the service, right?
Right.
So that guy's doing warranty work and then getting bad reviews because they hate the warranty companies. Not him, but then they tag his company.
Right.
It was some warranty company that people use when they buy a house or something. And so I'm not upset with the guy. I'm not dogging him at all. And I don't even say anything to people when they call about this stuff. It's not nice to have a conversation about it and say, hey, I did kind of say, hey, well, what are you wanting to do? Because I'm confused at this point, But when you wake up in the morning, if you're not busy or if you're not doing the kind of work that you want to be doing, like you're doing warranty work, then you need to be thinking, how can I get more leads? Right. How can I get more business?
If you want to escape that, you need to do more marketing.
Yeah. So then we had this client who obviously got business, got leads. In fact, they increased dramatically over a few years, and then they got money in their pocket, and then they buy billboards, and then they're an irritable client. Which what should have happened, and I will say this, Jason. At least we don't call everybody and say, hey, call us when you have more money in your pocket. And then we're busy enough. We don't have sales staff. We're not that type. We're a highly professional organization, but someone could call. It seems
we
like
could call and try to upsell you all the time.
We don't do that, but it would be logical to do that. So if you market and you market online, and then what can you do? So it's design and content and reviews and social media and paid ads and videos like this, or a podcast even, or both, which is what we're doing, plus more, right?
We had a client in the office yesterday that we actually advised them to do what we're doing right now, and they said they're going to try it.
Yeah, I don't ever believe anybody will, but let's talk about that right now for a topic, because I did want to discuss it.
Okay.
Guys, you don't have to start there, right? And so if you hired us to do organic and or paid. Paid is fine, and I'll talk about that WWND, what would Nolan do? And I'll tell you what I would do. And I treat everybody exactly like I would do my own company. Right. You start with the most stable foundation base to get the most business you can for the money, so the best ROI. Right. And so that's your design, extremely deep dive content. I know people talk content, but nobody's doing what we're doing right now, I don't think.
No, nobody does a long
Wrapped in schema code, deep dive structured content. Great stuff, right? So do that. We do the Google account, the GMB, Google My Business. We work on the GMB homepage. We work on the GMB account. And then we work on integration of citations and for brands, branded authority through Google. And then we either do some domain authority depending on what level you're at.
Right.
And then we work on it weekly depending on what level you're at. We won't ever put anybody with a bad level. I wouldn't. I wouldn't put them in
we
a bad.
We don't have a bad level.
We don't have a bad level. We have less per month. We have as little currently, and I'll say currently, guys, because there are, some sliced bread and everything changes in pricing. But we're an excellent rate, and we have one as low as $550 today, and as we have one called Enterprise that's individual per client.
Right.
But if you're in a big market, it's going to be a little bit more. But we're less expensive than people that are less quality than us.
Right.
And so but I do that because I know that I keep that client. So we keep them monthly, and we're almost always month to month and 100% satisfaction guaranteed, right?
Right.
And so that's where you start. And then business goes well. And then, inevitably, what do you want?
You want more.
More.
You always want more.
More, Mama wants an Escalade, or whatever. My wife wants a larger SUV. I'm like,
Bigger than the one she's already
why
got.
can't she be happy with the one she has currently? It's an Enclave, but that's nice, right?
That's
It's nice.
Should be enough.
She claimed that our kids are getting larger, and now she wants that. I'm like, well, honey, I'm not getting that right now. You know, you got this nice enclave here.
I'm gonna have an old man moment here.
What's that?
When I was a kid, my up until I was a teenager. Well, you know, my brother and sister are older than me, but we had a four-door Buick Skylark with a bench seat in the back, and I squeezed into the middle between my brother and sister.
You remember what they called that?
No.
Riding. I'm not gonna say it. You don't remember that?
No.
Oh man, I can't cuss I can't cuss you in this. If you rode in the middle in the back seat, because there was a bump in the back.
Yeah, my feet. That bump where the drivetrain is under. Because I shuffled my feet all the time, I wore the carpet on it and irritated my dad.
If anybody's watching this on Facebook, comment and tell Jason what it is.
Go ahead.
But I'm pretty squeaky clean, so I'm a family man. Anyway, so my grandfather would roll over in his grave if I mentioned what it is, but everybody knows that, man. Anybody in their 40s knows what that is. All right, so where were we, Jason? We get off track. So if you're doing this work and
you want more business,
we've
been successful for you. You want more business,
then you can call back, and here's what you would do.
Dance with the one that brung you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so you can always do more online. So and what would Nolan do? Well, next I'd probably pay for some ads on Google and Facebook. And guys, I do this. So this video is going to get pushed, right?
Some of you seeing this, you may not see this part of it, but a clip of this video will get put on Facebook.
Yeah,
and get pushed out as a boosted post that will pay for impressions.
Podcast and all that. And so I'll push that. But before I did the video, because that'll even cost more.
Yeah.
Because we hired a full-time videographer, right? And so before you did that, though, you can just you can have us do ad spend. So we don't want to do all the daily personal shots, but we'll help professionally manage the ad spend on Facebook and Google.
Help you create your audiences, find your right demographics.
Make sure it's done properly, inexpensive, and I might add transparent. We don't, I call it black box billing when they take a fee from you and then they try to do a shell trick, and then all your money disappears, and you don't know how much they spent on the paid advertising, which is bull.
Right.
So it'll be transparent. We'll help you with it. There's people here skilled at it. And that's exactly what I do. So it's organic first, and then some paid. I started traditionally with Google. It makes sense. We do that today. We do also paid on Facebook, and that's where like 80% of ad spend goes online, right?
87% of all ad spend online goes through either Google or Facebook.
It's great stuff. It's not, does it return as well as organic? No. Does it help everything as a whole? Yes. And does it help organic as well? Yes. So it's really hard to put a number on it. So the business begins to go well. Don't get a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 billboard. Don't do that. Expand the online presence more. So eat, sleep, market online. If you're not busy enough, then wake up and go,
expand your digital marketing.
The hell can I do? Why am I not busy enough?
I'm telling you right now, $5,000 spent across Facebook and Google will get you a hell of a lot more return than a billboard.
Yeah.
Or an ad.
That billboard, listen, I hadn't looked at billboards since I was in my early 30s. It's a long time ago, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they were $3,000 for those back then.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've changed or not, but yeah. And then just to print the artwork on it is expensive. Yeah. And then you have to sign up for at least like 6 months and all that. So that's how you ramp up. And then after that, there's even more. So then you could do video, and you could ask us to edit stuff and push it through multi-channels and set up YouTube and do podcasting, the whole bit.
Everything we do for ourselves,
you could do it all.
We can do for you.
You could do all of it. And you would exploit that until that's finished. There is no other marketing that's better than that. There's nothing else available. And I don't guess that anyone's ever hardly called and done that all the way through.
Right.
So
it's very rare.
It's very rare that anybody's even tried, but it is a great deal to start with that, with a full-fledged organic pack. I hate to say package because we just do great work, but we do a certain amount at that first step, right? And then you should go on and do those other things. And then here's the other one that I see a lot. They'll do well in marketing and then change directions and go, oh, well, we're going to go do this.
We're going to go in a different direction, which means
we're gonna try
Somebody else sold us.
we're gonna try this or a billboard, or look at a monthly fee and just go, what the heck? And just get mad for no reason. Even if you made millions that year, which I've had happen, by the way. This may sound crazy to you, but all this stuff we're talking about happens like all the time.
Yeah.
We had a particular client that made millions and just got upset at the arbitrary fee, which was pretty low on the marketing.
Especially when you compared it to
how much revenue was
their
coming
revenue.
in. So yeah, and this happens, like, I'm telling you that I know that like half of y'all do this. I know that half of you do this. So you look at the marketing fee figure, and the girl in the office or guy in the office or the accountant or whoever is doing your books, and you're like, and especially the accountant, because they have my dad's a CPA, so if anybody's parents,
As is my sister.
yeah, so I'm not ragging on, I guess I can rag on a CPA a little bit, but they have absolutely, utterly no business skills whatsoever typically. And definitely absolutely no marketing skills. Name one CPA that you know that
Sis,
markets.
he's not talking
Yeah.
about you.
Yeah. Is she going to watch this?
She might.
Yeah, so they can't market
gotta put
at
my
all,
disclaimer in there.
but they would look at the monthly bill, which is the marketing bill is going to be one of the higher bills for the company, and go, well, what is this line item in the GL code that's like, what? And then they'll go, and then the business owner go, what? And then everybody
What
throws
am
up
I
their
paying
hands.
them
Yeah.
for? All your leads.
Yeah, for your entire business, your world and life and all that, that's all. Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at how much money we personally spend on marketing here, it's ludicrous, because we've got so many people with their hands in it in the office. It's crazy.
I wish we could get us as a client.
Right? Yeah, right? But we understand marketing, which is why I ran a small business that became marketing.
Yeah.
So, but there is no business without marketing. That's it. Eat, sleep, market online. It used to be, I'd say eat, sleep, market, but now it's eat, sleep, market online.
Yeah.
Because any
To
other
me,
marketing
is marketing online. The
any other marketing is worthless. Like that money spent on anything else. Oh, I'm going to throw print, or I've got some extra. If you have extra money in your pocket as a result of a great ROI on the marketing dollar, return on investment on the marketing dollar, then you need to look at expanding what brung you there.
Right.
And it's like so dead logical to me, but people miss it all the time. But it did take me years, and now I kind of have like no patience for it, because it's so obvious. But it did take a long time. And guys, just so you know, I fell off my marketing bandwagon a while back, and we're dominant in industries, but fell off and had to get back on it again and get back to marketing. There's some stuff I want to do, guys. I'm not going to say, wake up with my phone and tell you that I'm crushing it on Insta Story. I'm not doing it. I don't care. We'll wake up and we're hammering it,
Crushing it
We're going to
today.
get leads for you. And I just don't do that sort of stuff. I think it's cheesebally and jerky, and I just don't do it. But if you got the ability to do that, more power to you. For me, I just can't. I've tried, haven't I? Doesn't translate well. It's like, it's like trying to go down. I was raised Baptist, try to go dance, It was pretty much illegal, not to have a good time. So yeah, it looked horrible. If I wanted to make a fool of myself, I'm going to get on and do that. So, but I can still do videos and stuff my own way. We do them. Works, right?
Right.
I think it does. Let me see. So I don't think I have any more to go on this one, but I hope that you learned that just marketing is key. There is nothing else. Get to be a marketing purist, and everything else in life and business will fall into place. Marketing purity.
Market online, hit your goal, and then expand your marketing online and raise your goal.
Online marketing. Yeah, you will do well with us. You will get more leads, and then you will want more. And then you can expand that. We don't talk about this sort of level of marketing to people because it scare them a little bit.
Yeah, usually scares them.
Because what we do that other people do on marketing, we'll charge half as much, and it's pretty full-fledged stuff. And when they look at the marketplace, they get confused. And so that marketing for people online, for whatever reason, needs to be a fairly moderate threshold. But you can go further. And there's some companies roving through, and I'm not going to say their names, but they will call you, and then they'll hype you into, let's discuss this real quick, and then we'll cut it off. But this is worth talking about. They'll hype you into a frenzy, and then you'll go from that $1,000 mark-ish, and then you'll spend like $5,000,
Right.
right? And I call it the shell trick. And believe me, you'll go reeling, licking your wounds from these relationships when you start.
Because you'll get signed up to a 1 or maybe even 2-year locked
Yep.
in agreement.
You'll get locked in, and it's black box, and it's the shell trick combined. So it's two dirty tricks combined, thrown in with some cute girl that you like to talk to or slick talking dude, right?
Yeah.
In fact, one of these companies even has the girls dress up in the office when people come in and gives you a beer.
Yeah.
Which so don't buy that way, and here's why. They're going to black box you, which all your money is going to go to them, right? So when I'm talking about doing all this stuff,
We
it's
know
all
for a
transparent.
fact that some of these companies, they take whatever amount of money you pay for them, and they basically take half of it and put it in their pocket, and the other half goes on.
Okay, so what he's talking about is actually worse than that. Because when I'm not talking about that company,
Oh, okay.
which we're not, I'm talking about the company that wraps the shell trick into the SEO, the mapping, the review integration, and then they throw paid onto it
Okay.
on Google, Facebook, and management of paid.
Yeah.
So that guy pays $5,000. And so I should have said this earlier because I hope people should listen. It doesn't mean because you go spend money, you're going to make money online. You will get screwed most of the time because you don't have us. So the shell trick, black box people call you. And there's several ones that are really slick at it. So you take the $5,000 and you're like, I'm going to go for it, man. They got me all hyped up and she was really good looking. And I'm going to get organic and SEO just like Nolan was talking about and Jason, and they're going to do mapping and they're better at everything and we're going to get it all, and then they're going to do AdWords and Facebook and all of it. So they take and they throw, hey, we're going to do some slick stuff on SEO, we're going to do that for $1,000. We're going to do your mapping for $300. We're going to add in some review module for $200. So you got money there, but oops, it's stagnant. They don't ever work on it. So it's a fancy template that doesn't get worked on.
It looks nice, but it's a template that they've got that they pop it out in like a week.
They're not really working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they start spending some money on Facebook and Google, but oops, they take a hunk of that away as well, and then they throw a management fee on that. So by the time your $5,000 gets done, you're damn lucky if $2,000 going towards paid.
Yeah.
And then they're hyping it up, a bunch of this money. So you got all this money. Well, man, they got all kinds of cash to like snow you over with like, slick talkers and calling up. And we've heard these routines. I won't mention these companies' names because we've hired some of these people. We hired a guy not too long ago that was
From one of these companies.
filthy, I don't know. Just he was a dirty individual, man, from having done this stuff to people, fleecing people. They did pay-per-click only, and they took half.
Yeah.
That's black box billing. So we do pay-per-click, we charge a fee, and then you see how much we pay, charge, and then you pay Google Direct, right?
Right.
And so you can tell, you don't get screwed. And then so all this money coming down, and then, in fact, we just had one of these guys that went to John, the other owner, does AdWords management, all sorts of certifications, and he was with a major company, a yellow page type company, and he was being black box billed. He's like, "Oh, Nolan, I know I feel better now." I said, "Why?" Because I told him how much we charge for pay-per-click management for him. He said, "I feel better because they're charging about the same." I was like, "Dude." I was like, that's their fee that they show you up front, and then they third-party bill you or report you. So they don't show you the reporting from Google.
Right.
They make up their own prices for the clicks and then shave more money off the top. He's like, "Oh, I don't think they do that." I was like, "Oh, you
Okay.
You don't?" It's like, anyway, so yeah, don't think that just because you get this stuff and you do this that it's going to work out well. You've got to stay away from those types of things and make sure the money's being spent well and actually going into it.
Make sure you know where your money's going. Make sure there's transparency.
Yeah, so somebody like that would go on and you're actually paying them like $3,000 for all this goofball work that doesn't get done well. If somebody, came in and pays us like half that much and gets like 500% more work and then gets balling organically and gets going. So I don't know. I want to throw that in the end. That doesn't mean because you spend money that it works well. You've got to have quality partners on your side. You've got to have a great web company.
You got to have us.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. There's very few. There's very, very few. Right?
Right.
There is. Like, how many are there? There's like,
I don't even know. The
I'm gonna
list
tell 'em.
is not long.
There's a couple. There's a couple. And it's not always who you think it is. I'm not going to mention the couple that might be on our level, but there's
We don't want you to call them.
there's like hordes of zombie jerk, corporate that will fleece you and take your money, which is why you're jaded and shell-shocked. It doesn't have anything to do with me, but I understand. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. We'll see you next time around.
Take it easy.